we humans operate on a such high degree of abstraction most of the time that it's very hard for us to wrap our mind around where is it grounded? What are the actual physical experiences that have led to our highly abstract understanding of the world? Like, you can't think of climate change without having the words for climate and change. You can experience temperature, you can experience humidity, you can experience that being different today from yesterday. But to understand the concept of climate changing over hundreds of years, you need to detach yourself from those experiences really, really, really far away and to compress them into these highly abstract units of language. So it can be really difficult to go back and say, well, okay, the idea of climate comes from, our skin experiencing warmth and our skin experiencing coldness, and then neurons are patterning that information into concepts of cold and hot, and then connecting that to the idea of ambient. It's so far away from this direct experience that it's really hard to say what does it boil down to. And I think for me, working with sea slugs was really revelatory in this sense, because sea slugs are a lot simpler and it's easier to understand how they process their patterns of experience. Like, what danger is to them, for example. What danger is to them is it's any signal coming from any pain receptor anywhere in the body, and there's a neuron that collects all those signals from those different parts of the body, and when that fires, well, the firing of that neuron represents the idea of danger. It's as simple as that. There is no further switch that says danger. It's just the fact that all of those different pain signals have converged in one point in the brain. I think that in a more complicated way, but that is also true for how we process, understand, and access these abstract features of reality. It's not that there is some special climate changeness that clicks in our brain when we perceive this concept of climate change. It's just by virtue of having our brain organized in this hierarchical levels, just by virtue of them processing our everyday experience and being positioned in such a way that one neuron responds to a pattern of heat, one neuron responds to a pattern of cold, and then those neurons form part of a greater pattern of cold weather and hot weather, and then those neurons forming part of an even greater pattern of changes in cold weather and changes in hot weather. And by virtue of our brain being organized in this hierarchical system, that we eventually get to such immensely abstract concepts like climate change. It's really hard to wrap your mind around, because what we want to ask is, okay, where in the brain is this, where does this concept of climate change sit? Point to that place in the brain and say this is climate change. But you can't. There is no place. It's all the combination of all of the things that are related to climate change, activated and influencing each other at the same time, that forms this concept in our brain. So that's how I think about it.